Hi, folks. We are back. It is the World of Wellness, James Weiner Wellness Week, Memorial Wellness Week, our tribute to the icon, Mr. James Weiner. The doc has been gone for a while. His spirit's alive and well here, and we're carrying on the tradition. This is day 2 of the Spring Fling Wellness Week here at the World of Wellness. And boy, I'll tell you what, it's a good day because kicking off day 2 in his first solo appearance on the World of Wellness speaker docket is none other than our man in, South Florida, our man in New England, our man in Georgia, all in one, Mr. Rashid Coates. Good morning, Rashid.
It's such a pleasure to be in the company of great people like you, Joe. I mean, I haven't been doing it as great as you've done it and as long as you've done it, but I look forward to carrying on a legacy here and making you proud.
Well, y'all, it's always good to butter up the host. You're doing a good job. So you've got something special for us today. This is one of your specialties, right? I mean, let's talk men's
Absolutely.
health a little bit today, right? We've been, doing a lot of different things over the last few months. We've been doing a lot of inflammation focus. We've been doing a lot of allergy focus, detoxification focus. But let's get down to brass tacks here and really focus in on men's health because, it's still a hot topic. You still see the commercials all over the place, for low T and ED and you name it. They got all their initials. But it really boils down to good foundational nutrition, doesn't it?
Absolutely. The more and more I went into the topic, the more and more I saw as the first line of defense is lifestyle modification. We always talk about it, and it's just great to see it more in the standard of care when you're looking at the medical research and the literature now that they're putting out there. And now that we're through Mother's Day, focus on the men now. We got to focus on the men. So why not make it
Point.
over?
We got Father's Day coming up. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Good point.
Absolutely.
All right. So what do you have for us today, Rashid?
Yeah. So, we want to make sure that everyone, in terms of our males out there, is putting the focus on the right things. And I have a slide deck this morning where, we really want to use this as a way to, get the information out there. Make sure that the men out there are taking great care of themselves. We're going to the doctor and making sure that our biomarkers and our levels are where they need to be with certain things. So we're going to focus specifically on testosterone, which I like to call it the chief androgen. Prostate, prostate is very important, especially as we get older. And also one of the causes of low testosterone, erectile dysfunction. So we're gonna focus on those 3 things this morning, and we're gonna have a great time. We're gonna learn a lot.
This is one of Rashid's specialties, so sit back and let him educate us. Go ahead, Rashid. Let's see this. Let's see what you got. Pull it up.
Okay, it's my deck there.
There we go. Yep. Go full screen. There you go.
Okay. All right. So to educate everyone on who I am, just in case you haven't seen me out there, I'm in the field. I'm one of the Nutritional Frontiers marketers. I manage accounts across the Southeast, from Miami on up through Ormond Beach, Jacksonville. So that whole East Coast of Florida. And I also manage accounts in Georgia, mainly Atlanta through Alpharetta. And then as of recent, the Northeast. So, a key goal is to really be an extension of the provider staff, educate the staff, provide support, customer service, and of course, help them identify which products will be a great fit for their practice. So I'm not a doctor, but I know a lot, enough to be deadly.
So you're a health professional, Rashid, right? You're
yes.
A health professional. We don't all have to be doctors to be experts in areas of health because there's doctors are experts in diseases and drugs, but not necessarily health. So I think we have the upper hand here.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to go ahead and go into the slide deck here on men's health, and I'm sure you'll jump in, Joe, where you see fit. But this is a little nice, funny picture here. But Really, this is where it all starts, is in terms of how do we size up, right? And like I said, I'm going to be going into prostate specifically, testosterone, erectile dysfunction, but hopefully we're looking more like the guy on the right hand side there, and less like the guy on the
In
left.
between?
Or somewhere in between.
Somewhere
Right.
in between, yeah.
So
Rashid looks like the guy on the right, though. That's for sure.
yeah, I try and keep it healthy, Joe. We have to be an illustration of what we're preaching, right?
Right.
So this shows an average male testosterone level. It's bracketed out in terms of age group. So this is showing you, our testosterone does drop off from when we're in our 20s. And this is just an average level. I mean, typically what we'll see is that testosterone, it will, fluctuate between 300 and 1200. Levels below 300 are really low. But we'll go more into that in the slide deck. But this gives you a good illustration, and that lower part of the bar chart there is the age group, and then the bars are indicating the nanograms per deciliter for testosterone. So that's the metric that they're using there. And this is a bar chart. A table. So this breaks it out, a lot simpler. So you could see the age there, and then you see the average testosterone levels to the right. Now these are just average, and the next slide will show you that there's a huge variance. So there could be a big fluctuation, and this is going into age groups of 40s through to 70s. But the key thing that stands out there is that testosterone does drop off over time. So the lower levels are, in the higher age brackets there, 60s, 70s. And this is Harvard's from one of their newsletters, pulled directly from there. And then we have signs and symptoms of low testosterone. So I'm sure you've seen or heard of some of these prior, but just in brief review: irritability, osteoporosis. This goes for men and women. Women, it's more so with their estrogen dropping off. Men, with our testosterone dropping off, it could lead to issues with bone health. Low testosterone could be a key issue that comes along with erectile dysfunction. Okay. And sometimes when we have low testosterone levels, it does affect our confidence, could lead to feelings of depression. So these are some key symptoms that come up. There's a few to follow here. So some brain fog, issues with concentration, decrease in muscle mass. We see this pretty consistently, amongst males. So, there's lots of things that you can do to help keep that muscle mass. Just keeping up with daily activities, maybe going to the gym, doing some weight training, some whey protein. So some key things that you could do there to prevent that. Decrease in height with that issue with bone health potentially. So there's a lot of different issues that can come up here. And there's that range that I mentioned earlier for normal total testosterone levels is typically from 300 to 1200. And that depends on age. And what we see as an average normal is somewhere between 500 to 700.
I want to ask you something here, Rashid, and that is, when you go and get a blood panel done, when you get your hormone panel done, and you fill out all the information, I know some physicians in our industry that for men in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, or even higher, they encourage them to put a different age on the blood test panel because it's nothing illegal about it. But what that panel will do then is bring back the average range of that age group, like 20s to 30s,
Wow.
which is where you want to be.
Yeah.
So if you're putting down your actual age, because the range on these tests, if you're in your 60s or 70s, the range is a lot lower. That's the expected range, right? Or the so-called normal range. And your doctor might say, well, you're normal, right? Your doctor might say it's normal. But you don't want to be normal. You want to be better than normal, right?
Absolutely. I mean, you want to keep your muscle mass. You want to prevent hair loss. You want to prevent erectile dysfunction. So, I mean, a lot of the providers that I work with, a huge focus is really on hormones. just managing those hormones, making sure they're where they need to be. It's going to help. The word is anti-aging, right, Joe?
That's right.
We see that all throughout the Southeast. And I mean, it's really about vitality, optimizing your health, just feeling as good as you can, looking as good as you can. And hormones significantly ties to that. And, for us males, testosterone is a big one. Yep. So, Joe, this is a tough one to talk about. As you know, this a lot of the time will bring men in the doctor's office, especially the ones that are reluctant to visit the doctor. But, you have erectile dysfunction, and it's pretty prevalent, especially amongst the older population. It could be managed. It could definitely be managed. You have to know what you need to do from a preventive standpoint to manage the likelihood of, coming across this later on in life. But it is unfortunate for some of us that, some of these lifestyle challenges come into play. And if they're not managed properly, erectile dysfunction is a potential thing that could occur later on down the road as we're aging here. So we've all seen these, right? The fasting serum glucose levels, diabetes, hypertension, abdominal obesity. These are all risk factors to cardiovascular disease, but they're also risk factors to erectile dysfunction. Okay. So there's a huge significant tie-in between metabolic syndrome, cardiovascular disease, and erectile dysfunction. In fact, I mean, Joe, well, I've heard a lot of physicians refer to erectile dysfunction as basically a form of cardiovascular disease. What do you think about that?
Oh, it's absolutely true because it's a matter of blood flow. So if you're not getting any blood flow down to the penis, you're not going to get blood flow throughout the rest of the body in the way you need it to be. So blood flow is blood flow. It doesn't matter what part of the body it is. But if you're having a problem with erectile dysfunction, then you have a blood flow issue. And blood flow issues are cardiovascular disease related. So yeah, it's a direct correlation. Absolutely right.
Yeah, you look at the diagnostic criteria for metabolic syndrome here, and it's pretty right on to me, right? Because all of these clinical markers that they're looking at and the criteria that they're looking at directly ties to cardiovascular disease. So this is your diagnostic criteria for metabolic syndrome. You only need 3 out of these 5, though, so we're not letting you off the hook. Right? But we want to be free and clear of any of these. Now, one thing I do want to point out is that the waist circumference, this diagnostic criteria for metabolic syndrome, there was different entities that were kind of involved in the diagnostic criteria. But if we're looking at the American Heart Association, their criteria for inches around the waist is around 40. So, it's you have different waist circumferences for Asians, blacks, Hispanics, and whites. But once you start getting around a 40 waist size for men and a 35 waist size for females, that would be the waist circumference that would be considered the diagnostic criteria for metabolic syndrome. And the others are pretty straightforward. That's your HDL, your lipoprotein level, triglycerides, fasting blood glucose, and then blood pressure as well. Okay, so I mentioned this earlier, Joe, and this is a big one. To optimize the management of any of these cardiovascular symptoms, as well as these symptoms that could lead to erectile dysfunction, first line therapy is lifestyle modification. So, above all things, right? I mean, yeah, there's lots of medical options out there and lots of things that you can do, but you want to just, check your lifestyle first, right? Go through the checklist of all of the lifestyle things that tie into a lot of these issues, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, right? And just make sure you're doing those things. Make sure your activity is where it needs to be. Make sure your diet, you're eating, all the right foods, staying away from refined carbs, stuff with sugar. It's going to lead to diabetes. So, lifestyle modification is key. It's very important. And I know you want to jump in on that, Joe, because, I know it's it's the easy thing, right? But a lot of us just don't do it. The standard American diet.
And
We're
here's a
all
good point, Rashid.
we're all
Go back
stressed.
to that. Go
Yep.
back to that last slide for a second.
Yep.
In the previous slide, you said one of the markers was high blood pressure, right?
Yep.
So if you have what they would consider high blood pressure, we may not. And again, is it resting? Is it activity? Is it morning? Is it night? Is it in the doctor's office? All different readings. But the bottom line is, if it's not, the ideal 120 over 80, you're normally going to get prescribed a blood pressure medication. And when you get prescribed that, what's one of the causes of erectile dysfunction? These drugs, the blood pressure medications. So
Absolutely.
which end is up here? Okay, you're getting diagnosed with a somewhat of a cause, okay, because we don't know what causes high blood pressure. They consider it idiopathic, which means unknown cause, but we know it's lifestyle.
Yep.
Okay, so it doesn't pinpoint a specific thing, but they can still prescribe a drug, and the drug's going to give you the direct effect of what you're trying to prevent.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's
I hope
really why
everybody.
Oh, go ahead, Joe. Sorry.
No, I hope everybody sees that because, a lot of times that's the problem. I know lots of guys that are on all these blood pressure, maybe 2 or 3 different ones, and they have erectile dysfunction. And guess what's a direct cause of it? That blood pressure drug. So,
Absolutely.
all right.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the irony of it a lot of the time, right? Is that sometimes you're trying to manage what the drug's doing as well as trying to manage your lifestyle. So it's just a downhill effect. It's a slippery slope there. So this one hits close to home. My dad was recently diagnosed with prostate cancer. So this is one where I've taken it a lot more seriously lately. But I have a lot of clients that are dealing with urology and seeing males and just trying to help them stay on top of what they need to do to manage their prostate and all of the right things to do for good prostate health. So there are certain things that could elevate our PSA levels. This basically shows you an illustration of low to high PSA. It's basically normal for all of us to have PSA in our blood, and high PSA levels, though, could be a direct indicator or a direct sign of prostate cancer or inflammation of the prostate. But there are other things that could also trigger it. You can have a UTI, a urinary tract infection, prostate stimulation, vigorous exercise if you're just exercising like crazy, and then also certain medications. So it's funny you said that in the prior slide, Joe, but it just all comes full circle here, right? So yeah, some of the medications also do raise your PSA levels.
Interesting that under vigorous exercise, you have a photo of a bicycle because,
Right.
well, I'm going to tell you, Rashid, I've seen a lot of guys with that's their preferred type of exercise. I mean, long distance riding, a couple hours at a time on a
Yeah.
bicycle. Now, you would
Right.
think that's great exercise, but those seats are positioned in such a way. Take note of this, guys. Okay, if you're riding hours at a time, multiple times a week on a bicycle, that seat is putting undue pressure on your prostate gland, and it's causing some of these issues. I've seen that happen. They didn't realize or know why or couldn't find the cause until they pinpointed they were sitting on that real narrow bicycle seat for hours at a time, multiple times a week. So, good
Absolutely.
side note.
You hit it on the head, Joe. That's why that picture of that bike is there, definitely. But yeah, nothing against you if you if you go cycling, but everything in moderation, right? Everything in moderation.
Moderation.
Uh-huh. So this is normal PSA changes with age. This gives a reference range for age groups from 40 through 70. Okay. And what we see here, though, is that there's a higher probability of prostate cancer detection by biopsy based on the higher levels of PSA. So it's basically a direct correlation. No one is free of being at risk because you see even at a low PSA level there's still a 10% chance of prostate cancer being detected by biopsy. but the higher the PSA levels, especially if you see greater than that 10 range, when it gets up in that range, the higher the risk is in terms of prostate cancer detection. Okay, so on to the good stuff, the protocols, right? Because I know everyone out there is saying, okay, good. We see all these issues that can come up. Now, how do we go about managing it? What are the solutions that we have in place here? So we're going to go into some
your PPI. This is your PPI.
This is it. This is it.
Protocol, products, and ingredients. All right, let's get it. Let's hear it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, got something that popped up on my screen there. Apologize. So Testo 180 is really our marquee product. This is our flagship for boosting testosterone and managing that testosterone to estrogen ratio, and also improving circulation. So ideally it works on 3 pathways, right? So we went into erectile dysfunction. We discussed the whole issue of blood flow and it being just another form of cardiovascular disease, right? So L-arginine is in here to really help with that circulation. And we also have ginkgo and panax ginseng. Those all 3 help with improving circulation. For boosting testosterone, we have tribulus, maca, and horny goatweed in the Testo 180. Okay. And then lastly, to round it out, we have DIM. DIM, you can get DIM from cruciferous vegetables, but you need a good dose of it. So we have the DIM in the Testo 180, and that's going to help balance the testosterone to estrogen ratio. There are some great studies out there on L-arginine. I'm not going to go into the studies too much, but L-arginine is a key thing that boosts nitric oxide, hence boosts blood flow, improves blood flow. And this is really where the issue occurs with men a lot of the time when you have erectile dysfunction. It's that blood vasodilation and the blood flow that's compromised.
The big drug that everybody knows about, Viagra, and all the copies of it, was basically designed as a nitric oxide enhancer. And that's what it does. It improves nitric oxide, it improves blood flow. So, we can do that naturally as well. Rashid, now this is the capsule version, correct, of Testo 180?
Yes. Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So we also have ginseng, which has some great studies on improving erectile dysfunction. But one study actually looked at arginine in conjunction with ginseng and carnitine and showed that it improved libido, it improved sexual satisfaction, and also sperm parameters as well. And another study showed that it boosted testosterone levels in males. So you got 2 great benefits there in the ginseng with improving erectile dysfunction as well as boosting testosterone levels. And then tribulus, which a lot of us have heard of, that's just great for stamina, for improving male performance, but also does well with boosting testosterone. Okay, so there's a lot of studies there to they've done animal studies, they've done human studies showing
that was sold by itself, right, Rashid, for many years, sold
absolutely
as a standalone.
Absolutely, yeah. So I used to be a district manager as well as a account manager at Metagenics, which is another professional brand of dietary supplements, which we have available at the World of Wellness. So Metagenics actually had a product called Tribulus Synergy, where I believe it was just Tribulus by itself was the main ingredient in there. So just by itself alone does a great job with improving testosterone and improving sexual function for men and women as well. So don't want to leave.
Absolutely.
This is about the men, but don't want to leave out the women. So DIM. So, DIM's one of those key things that is great for hormonal balancing. So the more estrogen you have, you actually have this enzyme called aromatase, and it actually causes our androgens to be converted over to estrogen. So DIM is a key way to basically balance out that aromatase activity. So some of my clients will use like an aromatase inhibitor, like an Aromadex, but DIM is a key thing. You don't need to go, with the drugs. You can, a lot of the times as a first line, you can look at a supplement and just go with DIM and see how well DIM does with balancing that testosterone to estrogen ratio. So again, it's going to prevent testosterone from converting to estrogen. It's, you can eat broccoli and Brussels sprouts. You'd have to eat a lot to get at a therapeutic level. So much easier to take it in a supplement. Okay. And this is a key way to deal with estrogen dominance. And that was one of the things that came up in the prior slide, is when testosterone is too low, and estrogen is too high, you have these issues that come up, that can, many different issues. We went into an earlier slide, so I won't go into all of them again. But lastly, we have PSA here, which is for prostate. So you don't have to look further than the product name to know what it does. Right, Joe? We make it real easy.
You're right. And boy, is this the most complete PSA prostate formula that you've ever seen? I know it is for me. I've never seen one this complete.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and these next few slides here, I'm going to show some clinical results here, so that you can get an idea of the power of this PSA product here. But one of the key ones in here is saw palmetto, Joe. I know you've had lots of experience with saw palmetto over the years for men's health, but one of the key things that the saw palmetto is doing is preventing the conversion of testosterone over to DHT. And DHT is about 5 times more potent than testosterone. For all of you guys that are kind of new to DHT, DHT stands for dihydrotestosterone. Okay. And our body primarily uses it in the skin, in the hair follicles, and for the prostate as well. Okay. So this is, saw palmetto is a good one, especially for males as we're aging, to be able to manage our prostate health really well. Another good one is phytosterol. So
Hey, Rashid, you also mentioned earlier in your presentation one of the symptoms was hair loss. And isn't that directly related to DHT?
Absolutely. Yeah. And, another key reason to make sure you're checking your testosterone levels, and making sure your testosterone levels are at a high enough level, because DHT is far more potent. So if DHT is out of balance with testosterone, that directly could lead to male pattern baldness. And, a lot of the time when we lose it, we can't get it back, unfortunately. There's a lot of different options to try and get it back, but it's tough once you lose it.
It's getting a little gray, but I still have all of it, Rashid. So
there you go, Joe.
What do you think, Phil?
Keep it going. So we also have the DIM in here. So you have DIM in the PSA. Okay. And then you have zinc, which zinc is another great one for prostate health. So this is a nice, well-rounded product. We also have chelated minerals, which, the specific form of chelated minerals that we use improves absorption, and it improves the bioavailability of the minerals in the product. So,
okay.
Just a great product overall. And hey, the proof is in the pudding, baby, right? The proof is in the pudding, Joe. So this is PSA levels that we're looking at for a male patient here. It was tracked over a 5-year time frame, but a significant improvement if you look at January 7th of 2020 and the last date there of April 28th of 2021. So you see that PSA level decrease pretty significantly. And, some of this was lifestyle changes, but significant changes also due to our PSA product, being able to move the PSA levels there.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Okay. And then, Joe, to round it out,
where'd that come from?
To round it out, this is our new addition to the complete series of products. So we've got women's complete already. Now we have Frontier Men's Complete. Okay. So you're talking about, just the all-in-one, all-inclusive, everything you need for men, packed with lots of power. So let's go ahead and go into it. So, I mean, we're addressing a few issues here, right? If you just kind of push the male issues, the all of the stuff that we went through, right? The prostate, erectile dysfunction, testosterone. A big issue, right, is the lifestyle. And we discussed this, right? Lifestyle modification. So the quality of our food right now, a lot of the nutrients have been depleted. right? We have more processed foods. We have a lack of nutrition in the foods. And just from a dietary standpoint, a lot of the time we just don't have in our diet what we need to really get in good quality things on a daily basis that we need as men. I mean, you look at how the food is farmed as well. That's another issue. You look at our stressful lifestyle, that just compounds the issue. So we have all these different things working against us. So no worries, we got you covered. We have all the essential nutrition. We have a superfoods blend, right? Getting in all those different superfoods that we need. We have great antioxidants in the product. So we've got glutathione. Um, you have many different superfoods. The chlorella is one that we love. Spirulina is one that we love as well. And this is going to also support the cardiovascular, immune, musculoskeletal, and men's sexual health. It's going to support all those things. So, men, we took care of you. We covered all the bases on this. Okay. So one of the key
An
things that
incredible multi. Yeah.
yeah, just incredible. We hit it on the head with this one. So one of the key things that we discuss with those low testosterone levels is the bone, right? The quality of the bone mineral density. So we got you covered, men, with all the key minerals: calcium, magnesium, boron, zinc, and we have vitamin D in there. Okay. So vitamin D is going to make the calcium even more effective. We got some eye support in here as well. We have things for eye health. Lutein is a big one. Okay. We have vitamin E and beta carotene as well. So, man, there's so many things that lutein does, Joe, in terms of supporting the macular pigment in the eye. I'm
Right.
sure you got the blue light, the blue light that's emitted from phones or laptops. It helps us, protect us from the blue light. What else you got, Joe? I'm sure you always got something in the toolbox there, but what else?
When you're talking about blue light, Rashid, I mean, this is emitted from so many sources. People don't even realize it. Yeah, every flat screen, period, bar none, whether it's a television, a laptop, a tablet, or a phone, every single one emits blue light. Not only that, so do fluorescent lights. Okay, so if you're in an office with fluorescent lighting all day long, you're getting bombarded with blue light, and it is detrimental, to not only to the health and of your eyes, the strength of your eyes, but it also depletes melatonin. Blue light depletes melatonin. So if you're watching that computer screen or your phone before you go to bed and you're having trouble falling asleep, well, now you know why. Okay, so the Lutamax was actually studied, extensively on its effect on blue light and how it can counter it. So yeah, that in and of itself. I mean, we obviously have Lutamax in the 2020 as well, but I mean, the fact that it's in here just shows how comprehensive and complete this formula is.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, you know how much we love dimethylglycine. We can go on and on about dimethylglycine, but one of the patents on dimethylglycine is that it modulates the immune system. So it's going to be a huge support for the immune system. So we've got the dimethylglycine in the Frontier Men's Complete, and you have all your key vitamins. We have some B vitamins in there for immune health as well, B6 and folate. And by the way, all of the B vitamins are in the methylated form. Okay. And that's going to help us manage inflammation as well as homocysteine. I mean, you've got this product is just so fully loaded. Red beet powder, which has got great studies on it for improving blood pressure, cholesterol, and inflammatory markers, especially high sensitive C-reactive protein, which is more cardiovascular inflammation. We discussed L-arginine earlier in the Testo 180, but we've also got it in the Frontier Men's Complete. So we were thinking about you men with the blood flow and boosted nitric oxide, some of those challenges. So we have you covered in the Frontier Men's Complete as well. And Joe, this one steals the show. 4 capsules, 100 milligrams of CoQ10, 100 milligrams of
Yes.
CoQ10. So I
That's
mean,
that's definitely the highest I've seen in any multivitamin anywhere, including the professional brands. I've never seen 100 milligrams in a multivitamin.
Yeah, I really haven't either. I was thinking through. I've seen a lot over the years, but yeah, I haven't seen 100 milligrams of CoQ10
No.
in any multi, let alone a multi for men. So, cardiovascular disease is still the biggest killer. Okay, so CoQ10, we're reducing complications from heart attack. We're improving energy levels as well. So CoQ10 is just playing such a vital role in overall men's health and vitality for all of us, not just men, for all of us in general. And then we discussed saw palmetto earlier. So saw palmetto is a key one that we have in the men's complete. We discussed that, balance that we need to have between the testosterone and dihydrotestosterone, or DHT. So another great one that we have in the men's complete. You've also got some other things to round out the male reproductive health: selenium, lycopene, zinc, and arginine. We mentioned arginine a little earlier as well. Okay, and we've got lots of great studies on all of these ingredients and the importance of them being in the Frontier Men's Complete. So in summary, okay, you have all the minerals you need, men, and they're chelated, right? We want them in the best form in terms of absorption and bioavailability. All the B vitamins in the product are methylated, and we have dimethylglycine, which used to be called vitamin B15, but we're helping manage homocysteine and inflammation with that dimethylglycine, and it's also helping support that immune system, keep the immune system healthy. Okay. We have that superfoods blend, chlorella, grapeseed extract, just to mention a few. And that PRT stands for patented, research, trademarked ingredients. We love using those for the evidence base as well as the effectiveness. So we use lots of these across our whole product line, and we also have them in our Frontier Men's Complete. And then the cardiac blend, okay, that 100 milligrams of CoQ10. And then you also have arginine and beetroot powder. And then sexual health blend with the saw palmetto. You got to add the arginine in there as well as lycopene. And that wraps us up, Joe. So, this is a lot of great stuff for men going into Father's Day. Hey, you women need to start thinking about what you can gift them with. Go with the protocol. Keep them healthy. Keep them
That's
around as long
right.
as possible.
That's right. Hey, with men, yeah, you're absolutely right. Father's Day, give them the PPI for men's health, right? Frontier Men's Complete. You've got Testo 180 and PSA. What a great gift that would be for all the dads in your life.
Absolutely.
Hey, Rashid, great job, buddy. Any
This has been great.
parting words for everybody? Where are you going to be this week?
I'm actually in the Northeast this week, so I'll be in the Connecticut, Massachusetts area. But for all my folks in the Southeast, I'll be in Florida the following week. And for all my folks in Georgia, hey, we got our VIP dinner coming up. If you're in Georgia, come to the VIP dinner. We're gonna have the CEO there. That's one key reason to come. But it's gonna be
there
a packed
he is.
house.
Incredible job today, Rashid. Millions of people out there watching you, so appreciate all the great education. Look at this smile, this guy.
I know,
huh? Making me smile. That's no easy feat, Joe.
Jeez. Yeah, that's good. Looking good, Rashid. Looking good. Like I said, he was, when I introduced him, I said, our man in Florida, our man in Georgia, our man in the Northeast. He's everywhere.
Where is he today? Does he know? Check your phone. Where are you?
I'm in the Northeast. I'm in the Hey, Joe.
All right, there you go.
We have a few this week together. A few meetings together this week. So looking forward to it.
All right, great. Thanks, Rashid. Yep. Great job, man.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right. Stay well out there, buddy. We'll see you soon.
Yep. See you.
All right. Coming up next, guess who? Rashid's comrade, his colleague, his buddy, his friend, the GOAT, Mikey Gallagher is up next.
Well, there's only a few people in the world that have his experience, Joe.
That's right.
Right? And he brings a lot of passion, tremendous amount of clinical experience and education. And he's going to always throw a couple of G-isms in. So you're going to learn some unique terminology in the School of Functional Nutrition.
Yes, pay attention.
And no one takes more passion and pride in what he does.
That's
so I'm
for
real
sure.
excited. What's Mike going to be talking about today?
What's Mike's? I'm not sure. What is his topic, Philly? Allergies, of course.
Oh, come on.
You know what? I get Phil in, you know. But he's. I'm sure he's going to talk about his new challenge.
Well, he's his challenge.
Yeah.
He is the author of the Aromax challenge.
That's it.
Let's give a little preview about that, because I did see some people posting online about loving the Aromax challenge, and it works.
And it works. You know, we had Mike came up with this challenge. He said, look, if you're having any trouble breathing, it could be just a little bit of allergy, a little bit of sinus, anything. Chew 2 Aromax tablets. He goes, give it 15 minutes and see if you see an improvement.
That's all you need.
That's all you need. Now, he's had a lot of them over the course of his territory, but we were in Ohio last week, and we had someone come in and say, I did it. I took it here
At
in
the
this
event,
room.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the room.
And
Within 15 minutes, clear
you can breathe
airways.
again.
That's right.
There you go. It works, as Mikey would say, quick and fast.
Yeah. So he'll be up next, folks. Stay tuned for that at the 10 o'clock hour. We got a full bow for you today. So we'll see you then. I think Mike's going to be going solo, though. Yeah. He doesn't need me. That's for sure.
You don't need no
He don't need another co-host.
Come on. Mikey does it alone.
All right. Well, day 2, Rashid Coates, our man, Northeast, Georgia, and Florida, kicked it off for us. Mike Gallagher's up next.